Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Appreciate your patience. I know I haven't covered ICP as often as I should here lately, so I apologize for that. We'll go ahead and get into the reasons why we may be breaking bullish and or potentially even waiting for a better opportunity. You're always going to hear me say that I love to teach best practice, so if you are somebody that appreciates that, feel free to comment below, like, subscribe, follow. If you don't love it, you may be in the wrong place because I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you how the charts are communicating to us and essentially, the way to appropriately approach situations like these here, okay? Because the truth is we're in a unique transition where Bitcoin's breaking bullish, it's looking good, but a lot of altcoins are kind of struggling. They're underneath their key level resistances. And sometimes we need to wait for that support level to be broken or that resistance turn support to be retested at the very least. Anyways, let's take a look here. Liquidation we can recognize here, first of all, we're getting closer to the upper range here in the last 7 days. There's more liquidation above than below. So that's a good sign. There's incentive to see 1150 as a potential reality here. However, we look at the macro, there's still a tremendous amount of liquidation on the downside. Keep in mind this reinforces the fact that we have support below us. There's also incentive for the price to be pushed down too, based on market makers and whales essentially manipulating price action. They do that so they can have less opposition once they get to that level. So say they sweep this $9 range, then people are going to be like concerned about taking longs, and then they pump up the price, and Bob's your uncle. They've got a ton of profit from that. We can see liquidation delta shorts are still pretty high, so people are still heavy on shorts in this coin. Keep in mind, if this stays like this for too long, then that price action will tend to reverse itself. We probably want to see the resistance level broken first, which is that $10 range, which we're testing right now, before we consider taking a long or a short, more specifically a long position. Okay. We take a look here at open interest, see if we can get a bit better of an interpretation here. There it is. There's that resistance at 10.15. Strong resistance. Again, that's that local low, essentially working as a new high. Till we close above that level, generally unfavorable to trade into this kind of price action. You don't take a long into resistance. You don't take a short into support. You wait for those levels to be retested, and then you take a trade. Again, it could break out, could never look back, but the likelihood of it breaking down is a little bit higher based on a few contributing factors. And let's talk about that. First of all, on the daily time frame, quickly to recognize, just abstractly here, we're underneath the 20 and the 50-day SMA. So being over the 20, a closure above 1075 would be super helpful. Obviously, beggars can't be choosers, as they say, but the truth is we want to be above that level to have some confidence on the macro here being moderately back on track. We also want to be over the 50 on the RSI, which we are not. Money flow index is higher than the RSI, which is good, but there's still a consolation. So there's nothing here on the daily time frame minus that support 200 on the 200-day SMA at about 920/$9, kind of letting us know that the tentative bottom is in, but tentative is the emphasized word here, okay? We could even argue this is a pretty big double bottom. Depends on how you look at it, really, honestly. Sometimes patterns can be just patterns, and the truth is you never want to trade on a pattern, so if you do see a double bottom or some kind of hidden divergence or some crap like that, I wouldn't attach yourself to it. If the entire price action is looking like it wants to go up and you have some bearish patterns, maybe you don't take that bearish quality into consideration. Everything else is telling you opposite, right? So with what I'm showing you here so far, everything's mostly bearish, so don't attach yourself to the concept that we're at a double bottom on the macro and the price is going to take off because that's how it's supposed to work out. Truth is, yes, that can happen, but generally it doesn't. You want to wait for confirmation before you take a trade. Having said that, 4-hour time frame, we're testing 20 on the SMA here, and that is generally a good trend setter. Usually you can draw out a trend line on the SMAs and effectively get a good consideration for where the price action is going to go next, right? So hypothetically, we cross through this threshold here, we should be in pretty good shape to be able to see the price continue higher. So we're breaking tentatively bullish, but again, emphasis on the word tentative. We're still under 50 on the RSI here. Till we close above that, I'm not going to have any confidence. Money flow index is right there with it, which is good. MACD's converging, stochastic swinging up. There's some favorable things here. It's just not phenomenal, if you will, right? I want to see 10.15 or higher as a closure at the very least before I consider a trade, mainly because it's open interest here at 10.15, and of course with liquidation, there's some incentive for the price action to continue a little bit higher here. 10.30 is that short-term initial, and of course 11.50 is that better case scenario. So keep in mind, 1150 is right here at this golden pocket. So if you're going to take any profits, ensure you secure profits sometime between now and then, because the likelihood of it rejecting off this level is quite high based on an initial resistance and, of course, that upper liquidation range having been swept if that were to come to pass, right? Again, emphasis on the word if. Hourly time frame, Ichimoku cloud, confirming here that we are above the cloud. This is actually positive. I like this here. This is good. This is a good hourly confirming factor, letting us know we're back on track for the short term. Okay. Now, short term turns into long term if things continue the way they should, right? Hypothetically, we continue higher, but you just got to recognize we do have this pretty obvious previous resistance range, and unless it is bullishly backtested here soon, there's a distinct probability we're going to go back down. Again, Bitcoin's performing well right now. ICP is following suit. If you look at ICP's chart compared to Bitcoin, it's not quite behaving as good as Bitcoin is. You could even argue that it's performing worse, but again, depends on how you look at it. Either way you look at it, we broke through a key level resistance on a smaller time frame. I would like to see more 4-hour confirming factors before I take a trade. Okay, that's just what I'm going to be looking for. I'm a little bit more on the patient slash conservative side, right? Because there's inherently a lot more risk taken along into this resistance range that we're in right now. So we get a solid closure at just say 10.25, 10.30. I think that might be a pretty good sign here for today that we're breaking bullish. But once more, Bitcoin starts to pull back. I think ICP will too. And with us being in this resistance range with, again, this local point of control between 10.15 and 11.50, until we solidly see a closure above 10.50, I'm not going to feel very confident or comfortable taking along. Again, if we close above 10.50, just say hypothetically we do, we'll be naturally above the 50-day SMA as well, giving us that supporting, confirming factor that we are probably going to be in pretty good shape here. So just some friendly advice here. Generally best to wait for confirmation in trades like this. But if you want to take a trade, just do a low leverage, small position size. Use a smaller percent of your overall typical trading amount per trade, so that way you can average in as the price either comes down or perhaps even average in as it goes up. But I think just taking along into this resistance range is a very premature thing to do, especially considering how slow it's moving and how fast Bitcoin has been behaving here. I'm not super convinced yet, but again, 10.25, 10.50 or higher in the next 24 hours. I think that should give us somewhat of a green light. So let's be patient, folks. Try not to FOMO in too hard, right? It's okay if you do, just make sure you use responsible trading. Low leverage, low position size is always the best way to go. Again, I know you can't get rich quick doing that, but in case you didn't notice, trading is not a get rich quick situation. You see examples online of how amazing people are. They took a 50x leverage trade at $9.40, and they're probably boasting about it online. If you're seeing people doing that and you're following them, think twice, because again, nobody should be boasting about a high risk trade. You should not have any business taking a trade down there. You can take spot bag trades and add to your position. I've been doing the same thing with ICP, Dogecoin, Dogwoof Hat, Bitcoin, Solana. I've been adding to my positions, right? And I'm super glad I did because they're up a pretty good chunk right now. But again, I didn't take a high leverage play because that was a bad call. Trading at support is okay for spots, but it's not okay for leverage trading unless you have full confirmation, which we don't yet. Okay, hopefully I'm not a broken record and you understand the benefit of me trying to help educate you on these things. I'm going to post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here. If you're not familiar, it looks a little something like this. If you want to join our Trading Academy Community Signals group, last month was a very profitable month for us. Keep in mind the profit percent is depending on what kind of trades you take. The key takeaway is that I help find really good entries and pretty good exits for your trade. So if you're trading conservatively alongside me, you're probably going to be doing pretty well. That's all available. CryptoCash.tag is linked down below. If you are part of our community, make sure you reference our signals guide and our trade alerts. These are all here for you in case you need to know the best practice there. And obviously, again, congrats to our community members here for some nice profits on our Bitcoin short from 95.5 roughly to about 89,000. We're now in a Bitcoin long, just to give you perspective. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.